This was a massive hive this summer. It was kind of more of an experiment for me. I was running double queens, and it's November 29th today. It's about almost 50 degrees. So I thought, man, I'm going to get out there, and I still had a queen excluder in between the two, but there's plenty of honey in both, and it hadn't really got real cold where I thought they would cluster and leave the queen below the excluder. So I just figured I'd come out the last nice day I had, which looks like it's going to be today, take that excluder out, and bees have still been fairly active because we haven't really had no cold temperatures yet. But unfortunately, when I open this thing up to take the queen excluder out, there's not honeybee one left in this thing. It's full of yellow jackets. Planning on just waiting out winter in it, which isn't going to happen. Tons of honey. So they must have swarmed. They must have swarmed real late, and I just didn't catch it. And the activity I seen coming in and out of here the last few weeks must have just been robbers. It's unfortunate. Like I say, this thing was massive. So wherever that swarm went, hopefully somebody got it, because it had to be a huge swarm. But anyway, I mean, that's beekeeping. It sucks. I'm not real optimistic about this year going into winter, because last winter I lost more hives last winter than I've ever lost. And I blame a lot of that on the weather. They stayed just warm enough that the bees, they were just way too active still. And they couldn't replenish any of their winter stores. All they were doing was just consuming a lot of honey. And so I lost a lot to starvation. I haven't fed in a few years. I tried to get away from that. But this year, seeing how here it is, the end of November, 50 degrees. Now it's supposed to get cold this week, but who knows if it's going to stay cold. This year I may end up having to do some emergency feeding. I don't know. But if I do, chances are it will be honey, because I've got 4 deeps. I got 4 deeps and 2 mediums completely full of honey just off of this hive here today. Once I get it all tore down, so that's quite a bit of honey I can feed back to other hives throughout the winter. I still have some nukes. I may end up just taking some of these deeps frames that I have and throw them in there onto the nukes, just to assure that they have enough food to get through the winter. But it's unfortunate, but it's beekeeping. If you're going to be a beekeeper, you're going to lose bees. That's just how it is. And the sooner you can accept it, the easier it is to be a beekeeper. If you're going to freak out and panic after you lose every hive, well, you're going to be a miserable beekeeper, because at some point you're going to lose hives. So I was hoping to bring you along today and show you what a healthy colony looks like going into winter. But this is not going to be the one to do that with, seeing how they're gone. I mean, they're gone. There's a few dead ones I can see down at the bottom, but very, very few bees even left in there. Like I say, it's just yellow jackets in there. But I'm going to finish tearing this one down. I'm going to get everything moved into the shop. Just start cleaning some of these frames up, and kind of make a plan of which hives I want to add deeps to, or my nukes or whatever. So this honey, I'm not going to harvest any of it. I've got plenty of honey. So I'm just going to put this on to other hives. Back in the shop, I'm going to go ahead and, since I got that hive all torn down, I'm going to go ahead and let's tear into the bottom brood box, and just see what's going on. That way we can kind of have an idea if it was a late swarm or if they just simply absconded and took off. You can usually have evidence of either or. So I am curious myself. So I'm going to bring those brood boxes over here, set one up. We'll go through the frames, see if first we'll look for swarm, obviously. So we'll be looking for a lot of drone comb, a lot of swarm cells, stuff like that, just to see if they did swarm. But I don't think that's the case, just because when I shine my flashlight down between the frames, I didn't see very many dead bees. So I don't think they swarmed and they never requeened and died off. I think that they absconded for whatever reason, but to know for sure, let's get into them and find out together. All right, this is one of the very bottom brood boxes. I've already went through and busted a lot of the frames apart. This one actually came apart. That way I could try to do this with one hand while I'm holding the camera with the other one. That's why I started using glue right there, guys. See just a little bit of pollen. You can tell in those cells how they're rough on the edges and chewed up. That was honey that was robbed out, and that's just brood comb there. Same thing, just pollen and brood comb. Alright, so this one you can see that some unhatched cells still left. Up there where you can see it again, how it's kind of chewed up. That's just because it was robbed out. That's all just pollen, bee bread, whatever you want to call it in there. There is one dead bee. Same thing. Few uncapped ones. Still haven't seen any drone comb on these frames or any. Now there's a cup, but doesn't look like it's ever been used, either one of them. That's just burr comb. Just burr comb. Now there's some drone brood, or drone comb, sorry. You can see up there that small cell, and then you get down here to that big cell. A little bit of capped honey left in this one. You can see that capped honey, and then where it's real rough, that was all robbed out of here. Oh, this one's pretty heavy. This one must have quite a bit of honey left in it. You can see all that honey. And then you can see, there's the yellow jacket. You can see where they've robbed. There's a couple butts of yellow jackets still in those cells. You can see where they've robbed everything else out. Just burr comb. No cells, no queen cells. Yeah, same thing. Capped honey. Oh. This frame, they've robbed about half of it out, but that's all capped honey. Same thing as that side. Hive beetle. So half of that frame is still capped honey. grab my hive tool. That's all capped honey. Burr comb. Now they did rob half of that frame out, you can see. But let's I'm gonna grab something that's real white so I can get a couple scoops of. See, there's not many there's some dead bees in there, but there's not near enough bees in there for this to be considered a dead out. I think that's just bees that didn't get cleaned out after the entrance reducers went on. But I do see a lot of dead hive beetles. I mean, a lot of hive beetles. You can see all of them. But what I want to do is just scoop some of this stuff out. All right, I switched to my phone. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the mites. You can see the mites a lot better. They're like right there's one. Here's a few that I separated. Those three dots right there. But I was able to just open some of these cells. Let me figure out where I'm at here. And you can see right there, there's a mite inside that cell on that larva. Right there is another one. I know there's more than that. No, there's one, and I accidentally pushed this guy down, but there's one on the side of that one. And then this one, I was able to pull out of the cell, and you can see it's got a mite on it too. So chances are I'll be absconded because of a high mite count. There you have it. After going through there, then scraping everything out of the bottom, kind of get an idea of what was still left in that hive on the bottom board. And then once we opened up some of those cells that were never emerged, it was pretty obvious that there had to be a pretty high mite count in this hive, and odds are pretty good that that's the reason they absconded. So I'm still not one of those guys that says you have to treat and feed, and I'm still not one of the guys that says you have to be treatment free and all that. I think every beekeeper needs to do what they think they need to do for their own yards, for their own hives, and go from there. But that is just my observation of what I believe happened to this hive. See you on the next one.